Hello and welcome to Area 67 Gaming. I am your host, Ben Tennyson, and allow me to break the ice, if you will. As I climb to the mountaintop and catch Pterodactyl, this is Ice Climbers on the NES. Ice Climbers was initially released in 1984 on the Arcade Versus system, but didn't come to a home console until 1985 on the NES and Famicom. Created by Shigeru Miyamoto because, what else hasn't that guy done? I mean, Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, this dude's a game-making machine. The game was produced by Kenji Miki and was the first video game programmed by Kazuki Morito. He considered it a warm-up game before his main programming on Super Mario Bros. Sorry for my pronunciation as well, because I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Ice Climbers was a release title for the NES back when it first came out, and did pretty well for itself. However, this game's legacy really stands on the fact that the Ice Climbers, Nana and Popo are playable characters in Super Smash Bros. If it was not for that game, I'm pretty sure this game and these characters would have been forgotten at the time. And what really makes them memorable, in my opinion, is their impact on Smash as a competitive game. In Melee, you had them as a top character for a long time because of wobbling, and with something similar in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where they just kind of threw someone back and forth. Needless to say, they had infinite combos in both games, making them one of the most hated characters in Smash history. However, Super Smash Bros. Is not their only appearance in other Nintendo titles. They have an appearance in WarioWare. They are one of the NES games hidden in Animal Crossing. They even make an appearance in Hey Pikmin as an item called Revenge Fantasy, which is literally just an NES cartridge of the game. But my goal here today isn't to talk about them in other games, because I'm done with that now. We are here to see what makes this game special, as to why it gets referenced in other games, and to why Ice Climbers is a playable character in Super Smash Bros. So let's dig into it. The game description reads as so. It is only you and an ice hammer, and you make your way to the top of the mountain. If you can break ice through 8 levels of treacherous ice Arctic, you'll reach the top of the mountain. But watch out, the Nitpicker, Condors, and Polar Bears don't want you up there, and you've got a bag of tricks that will block your rise to the top. There are 32 challenging peaks to scale. Face them alone or with a friend. This game really does feel like it'd be better with a friend, but I didn't have one of those lying around, so I just played it myself. Best Sopo in the game, baby! The goal of the game really is that simple. The goal is to reach the top of the mountain and to catch the plum from the Condor. Throughout each 32 levels, they just increase the challenges and give more obstacles along the way, as one would expect. They add pillar walls that you can't jump over, different sizes of clouds that go back and forth, unbreakable floors and moving floors which really feel like treadmills to me, along with the enemies that I previously named like the Nitpicker, Topi, Condor, and the Polar Bear. The Polar Bear to me just looks like the Coca-Cola bear, and I really never saw the Topi as an enemy, like he's just fixing the floor. He slowly walks out, sees a hole in it, goes back to get ice to patch it. Not really villainous to me, dude's just doing his job. Good job, Topi, me and you were cool. The only enemy that was really truly annoying was the Nitpicker. It never dives at you or purposely comes at you. What it does is it just flies around an area that you really don't want it to be. And you can jump and hit it with the hammer, but to be honest, the hitbox on the hammer is really weird. There were plenty of times I would jump right at it and somehow still not kill it and it would kill me instead. I never really understood how that worked, but regardless, I persevered. I played through all 32 levels in one day, so I wouldn't call this game extremely difficult. Really, the most difficult thing about this game was Popo's jumps. Height-wise, he was perfectly fine, but it's the moving forward part that was just ridiculous. This small Eskimo has no drift to his jumps. He barely moves left or right when he jumps off the ground. And unlike Mario, where you have a lot of control as you're falling, no. You jumped, that's where you're going. And if you get on a hot streak of beating levels, each level you beat, the enemies get faster. Luckily, the game doesn't send you back to the first mountain every time you die, it just leaves you right where you left off. At least that's how it is on the NES, I don't know how it plays on the arcade system. I would imagine the same way. This feels like a direct port, and it even says 1984 on the bottom. This game at the end of the day is just a real simple climbing game, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was one of the first games on the Nintendo Entertainment System, so it's not like they went into this to make a great story, they just went into it to make a decent game. And I would say they succeeded. This game feels more like a mobile game nowadays compared to the major titles we get, but for the time, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a simple, self-explanatory game that any two people can pick up and play together. I wouldn't consider it a classic by any means, and I really do think if it wasn't for Smash, this game would have been forgotten. Nintendo's really never came out and said why they included him in there. It's not like they were an easy design either. Even Sakurai came out and said they're one of the hardest characters to program. That's kind of the reason they didn't make an appearance in Super Smash Bros. 4. I wonder if there's some secret sentimental reason that's never been revealed. Regardless, Nana and Popo went from the most hated characters in Melee and Brawl, well besides Meta Knight there I guess, to one of the most hyped characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Ice Climbers is really nothing to write home about. It's a pretty simple game, but its legacy lives on. Nintendo was the only company I know to find ways to keep their games relevant years later. With random cameos in other games and being a playable character in Smash, the Ice Climbers live on. And Smash is a great game at making people want another game from their favorite characters. Like that guy who bought a bunch of Nintendo stock just to ask for an F-Zero game. And how long have people been asking for a port of Mother 3 to America? With their appearance in Smash, it makes me wonder if Nintendo is really done with Nana and Popo. With this game keeping them alive, it makes me wonder if we will ever see another Ice Climbers title. I don't personally know what that would even be like, but Nintendo can come up with crazy cool games all the time. For now, we sit back and watch what happens to these two Eskimos from a different era. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and leave a like and comment if you feel like it, and subscribe to the channel. But that's gonna be it for me. I hope you all have a great night, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.